I'm going to talk to you about coherence, and in particular, I will address the issue of culture in our understanding and conceptualization of coherence. And when I talk about coherence, I talk about it in the context of discourse analysis or discourse. So let's look, first of all, let's have a look at the word coherence. What is coherence? Coherence is a quality of a text making a particular speech or writing logical. So if a particular text is coherent, it the meaning in general makes sense. Making sense means it is logical. Logical. For example, when I say that I love Chinese food, I enjoy eating Chinese food. So uh, whenever I'm eating out, I usually go to a Chinese restaurant or a Chinese food store. So you can see the two ideas are cohere. Cohere means they go together, forming a acceptable logical connection. This is what we mean by making sense or coherent. If something is not coherent with spelling with rent, this is an adjective. Ideas do not go together. Like I'm keeping two cats, because I love dogs. You know, you see, two ideas do not go together. So it is not coherent. It two ideas, when you put them together, the text doesn't make sense. It's not logical. So this is what we mean by coherent. Coherent, as I just mentioned, is one of the two textual qualities. Oh, you may ask, what about the first one? The first one is cohesion. Cohesion is the quality of the text whereby elements are stick together or glue together. To the use of in English discourse or in traditional discourse analysis, we will talk about lexical devices and uh, grammatical devices like ellipses, for example. So let's get back to you know the coherence in general. According to two gurus in discourse analysis, we usually quote Halliday and Hasan, this couple. Halliday and Hasan back in the year 1976, yes, many years ago, they actually proposed that a text is said to be coherent if that particular text satisfies two conditions. Number one, which is really obvious, it has cohesion. Okay, this is number one. And number two is is conform to the context in which it is created. And Halliday and Hassan used the word consistent. A particular text consistent with the context it is created. Now, this is very academic, and I will actually unpack it for you. The first one, it has cohesion. I think uh, if you don't understand it, you need to go back and look into the concept of cohesion I have discussed earlier. Now, consistent with the context. Halliday and Hassan did not directly talk about culture, but of course, when you talk about context, it can be a cultural context, cultural situation. I will give you an example of a cultural dimension of coherence. Like, if I say that Somchai is going to Udon Thani, to a famous shrine in Udon Thani, because tomorrow is the lottery day, is the lotto day. If you are not from Thailand, if you are not familiar with the Thai culture, especially the lotto culture, the Thai lotto culture, you will not understand. You will say that, "Wow, it doesn't make sense." I mean, the sentence doesn't make sense to you. But if you are in Thailand, a Thai person, oh, he's going to a famous temple, a famous shrine in Udon Thani because tomorrow is, the lotto uh, day, lottery day. Oh, it makes sense. You see? So, in a way, what is coherent, what is logical, is also cultural, and it depends on a particular community or a particular cultural group that you are in. Um, okay, this actually going beyond a norm in a particular culture. For example, the writing styles of Chinese or the Thai or Chinese or the Thai people and the writing style of like American or the Western writing style is usually linear from top to bottom, one, two, three, four. But in the Oriental style of writing, it usually a little bit spiral. We are not in a hurry to move downward or to be direct. We can circumnavigate. We can go spiral and then let the audience figure out the main idea or the central idea. This is also cultural. So if you use one cultural standard to judge other cultural standards, of course you can say that that ideas or the text is not coherent. But from other lenses, they may be coherent and perfectly logical. Talking about logical, we can actually talk about orders of things. And when we talk about order or normality, we can actually talk about natural order, like the day, the night, and man-made one, or cultural order, like the most beautiful, the least beautiful, uh, number one, number two, number three. So we have to understand that what is logical, coherent, or in Hasan and Halliday and Hasan term, consistent with the context. It can be cultural. And when we talk about culture, it's a little bit complicated. So we have to bear in mind that when we make decision in judging a particular text of being logical, being coherent, more coherent or less coherent, we have to bear in mind also the context or the cultural context of that particular text under which it has been created, not only cohesion. So it's a long, it's a mini lecture, not that long lecture. I talk about the meaning of coherence and the criteria for judging coherence based on Halliday and Hasan 1976. The two criteria are it must have cohesion, it must be consistent within the context it is created. In other words, we need to look into the cultural dimensions of the text. That's why I call this cultural dimensions of coherence, not only grammatical or cohesive dimension. I'm Janpha Thadphoothon. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.